Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with Our Trade, and I want to welcome everyone to our weekly webinar, Mapping Out Your Week Ahead. And in simple words, what we're trying to do is actually create a plan for the week. And as I like to quote the traders when they say, you plan your trade, and then you trade your plan. Of course, there are no guarantees, but definitely there's more chances to succeed and to trade more organized when you have a plan and you kind of prepare yourself for what's happening and have an approximate plan of actions. A few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade, and I've been involved with trading for the past 24 years. I started as a prop trader in June of 2000 in New York City. And after trading with prop firms for 11 years, I moved away from it and I continued trading, of course, and I started to mentor and educate others. And I'm very happy with this great opportunity to assist our traders at AvaTrade. The agenda of the webinar is the same thing as we do every week. We talk about indices, stocks, commodities, and Forex. We'll discuss a little bit of fundamentals. We'll take a look at economic calendar, and then we'll try to see some charts, trying to analyze it technically and see what possible could happen. Risk warning, you can find a full statement at avatrade.com website. Everything we do here, of course, it's purely educational. We do not suggest any trades. Social media channels, I highly recommend for you to subscribe and follow us. You have Telegram, you have X, which used to be Twitter, and my favorite YouTube channel, where you can find a lot of tutorials, educational material, webinars. If you missed the webinar, don't stress, you can always find it on YouTube. So if you are watching this on YouTube, as a lot of people do, please click on likes if you like it, share with people that you think might benefit, and definitely subscribe and click on that bell so you'll be notified when new things are coming in. Okay, so let's start before we go into this picture. The whole focus was for Friday for the symposium and the speech of Powell. As we discussed last week with the numbers, predictions, it looks like it's a close deal. We are facing the interest rate cut. The question is going to be 50 basis points or 20. We'll take a look at what the current numbers are. And I just want to read to you a small piece from the article here about Powell's speech. It's like a few sentences here. So I'm quoting here, Powell triggered all those moves, delivering on what investors were hoping to hear when he said, quote, the time has come for policy to adjust, end of quote. Powell expressed confidence that inflation is moving towards the Fed's 2% target. And I continue from the article. While Powell wasn't clear about how much the Fed will cut its target for short rates, now between 525 to 550 at the next meeting of Fed's policymakers in September, that doesn't seem to be a big issue. Interest rate futures still point to a higher chance of a cut of 1/4 percentage point than for a 1/2 point move at that meeting. But the odds of some reduction are near 100%. Okay, so I just wanted to read that to you. So there was a speech, it's clear they will be cutting September 18. That's the decision. They're two-day meeting. I think the 18, they'll be announcing it. Okay. So here's the article. You can find it also on marketwatch.com. And the title here says, Fed stealing stock market spotlight from Trump and Harris as Powell readies rate cuts. Okay, as we know, we are approaching the elections in November. So it's a tight competition there, and everybody pushing their own agendas. So market, as I read an article last week when the author said that we're starting a higher volatility in the market, and it's normal all the way into the elections results. So article says the Powell, of course, took the stage. Now, the 10-year yields, important to pay attention to. This was the Friday move. After Thursday move up, we had the reversal on Friday, and this should tell us that it added to weakness in the dollar, potentially, and strength to gold and strength to the equity market. So we'll take a look at the charts, and that's exactly what happened. Now, this is the CME probability of the interest rate cut, and take a look. Currently, there is 76% probability they will cut it 0.25% and 24 probability that they will cut 50 basis points. And it changed right here. You see, on the 24th of July, the probability was 0. Then a week ago it was 25%, and now it's 75, 76% probability that they will be cutting the rates. So this is the current situation. Now, Bitcoin also, we'll take a look at the end of our technical analysis. With Bitcoin had a nice jump after Powell's speech. Beautiful move, it says right here, moved more than 5% on Friday as it was trading around 60,000. It moved to around 65. That's on Bitcoin. And the highlight of this upcoming week, of course, the earnings of NVIDIA, the leader in technology pretty much. It says right here, NVIDIA earnings are coming. Big tech needs them to be good. And they are reporting on Wednesday, the 28th, after the market close. All right, economic calendar. A few things about economic calendar, especially for new people. This is public information. You can access it on our web trader or the app, and also any providers. You can just Google economic calendar. You can find a lot of providers. It's the same source. You can know about this ahead of time. So here, what I do, I take out only the high impact events. As you could see, everything in red. There's so much more. You can filter through it. You can choose what's relevant for you. So here it's only high impact events, and this is what waiting for us in the upcoming week. So Wednesday, we have from Australia CPI numbers. Thursday, we have CPI numbers from Germany. We have GDP from US and CPI numbers from Japan. Friday, retail sales from Australia, retail sales from Germany, CPI numbers from European Union, GDP numbers from Canada, and this will be the highlight of the economic calendar for the week. Core personal consumption expenditure price index. This is the number that the Feds are looking for together with the CPI to see how inflation is going or how's it doing. So that's on Friday, the end of the week. Saturday, manufacturing PMI from China. So there's much more. There's durable goods from US and other things, but this is a market has a high impact, and the most important one is right here, as we said, Friday, 12:30. This is GMT time. You can set up whatever time fits you. These numbers are with the GMT time. So here we go. Friday, the most important number for the week from US, the core personal consumption expenditure price. All right. Okay, now we're going to move to the charts and go to the instruments. We start with indices, then move to some individual stocks. Then I'll take a look at Forex. Sorry, before Forex, commodities, then Forex, and then a few words about cryptocurrencies. Okay, so we'll start with China, with the Chinese index. It did have a move up on Friday, and we're right at the 200 moving average. Just to remind all of us, Chinese economy is a little bit in trouble, to say the least. There are different issues there. The government is trying to inject funds and take other measures. So far, they're not really succeeding. They're temporarily succeeding, and then we go down again. So here, let's see how we deal from here. We're right on the stick of 250 moving average here. With China, as you know, I usually bring up 4 instruments. That's oil, copper, Australian dollar, and New Zealand dollar. I'll explain why. Copper is being used a lot in China for different things, manufacturing and construction. Oil, definitely China is using oil, a lot of it. And the situation, economic situation in China reflects on the oil prices as well on the demand side. And then, of course, the Australian and New Zealand dollar, those are called commodity currencies, as those countries provide a lot of goods to China included. So let's take a quick look what Australian dollar is doing. A nice move on Friday to the upside. Of course, it's not just because of China, also the US dollar was super weak on Friday. So here we go, Australian dollar moving up, New Zealand, nice move to the upside. So those four instruments kind of go together with this move on China nicely. Japan index is struggling. It did have a very beautiful recovery here after the historic move to the downside, and we are facing this resistance, and we are on the 50 and 100 moving average here. Now, U.S. indices had a nice, obvious, nice moves to the upside after Powell's speech, especially, but we're still a little bit away from the all-time highs. So with Thursday we had the sell-off, Friday with the recovery. Let's see how this week will play out. This is the S&P 500. Similar situation in Dow Jones, a nice move to the upside, and we're hitting right the level from which we sold recently. That was the beginning of August. So let's see if this holds as a resistance or we break through it and move towards the highs. Nasdaq, I didn't have a full recovery. I had a nice, maybe halfway recovery from Thursday's sell-off. Let's see what's coming up this upcoming week. And of course, I repeat myself, probably I'll be saying about NVIDIA a few more times today, but the earnings of NVIDIA for this week are very, very crucial, especially for NASDAQ. Germany, a nice move. We did a break above August 1st sell-off point. Let's see if we continue high or retrace. French index, also a nice move, nice recovery into the end of July, where we started to sell. And UK index FTSE also had a move to the upside on Friday. And if we are continuing here, we would be going higher to retest the previous double top here. So we established it. Indices had a nice run, and let's show also the Russell 2000, the small caps that had a nice move, similar to Dow Jones. Okay, so indices had a nice move. Powell did good for the market on Friday. Let's see how this coming week starts and continues. And again, NVIDIA and the core expenditure numbers that we spoke about on economic calendar are going to be affecting markets. Okay, let's move to individual stocks. What was good in Powell's speech, kind of reassurance or kind of saying, okay, it is happening. So the car makers start moving. Tesla had a move up after the Thursday sell-off, nice move to the upside. GM had a beautiful move on Friday, continues the recovery from the recent sell-offs. And also Ford, I'm going to bring the MT5 for that. Ford, where are you? Here we go. Ford, also Friday had a nice move, and as you could see, recovery. I think we spoke about Ford a while ago, or maybe a week ago, a couple of weeks ago, when we said that Ford had a huge sell-off here, and it started to pick up below 10. We're trading or closing or closed on Friday at 11. What was the close here? 11.26, 11 and a quarter. Okay. So the car makers also, what moved on Friday, banks got excited also about interest rate cuts. That's logical. More mortgages, more loans with the lower interest rate, right? Borrowing becomes a little cheaper. Here we go. Goldman Sachs, nice move on Friday. JP Morgan with the gap. Let's see if we're at the all-time highs. Yes, JP Morgan, all-time highs. Beautiful move. Bank of America as well. Citigroup as well. So we can see that the banks are reacting to these strong words of Powell on the interest rate upcoming. The banks are excited about it. The big guys, the big stocks also had a move besides Netflix and Meta, which is Facebook, moved actually down on Friday. That's very important, as I mentioned last week as well. Here you go, Meta. Thursday sell-off. Friday, when the whole market recovered nicely, Meta went lower and closed lower below Thursday. I would be really watch. Something's going on here. Someone is selling the stock on the market going higher after we reach the highs again. So Netflix and Meta weak. The rest of the guys were Apple. We had to move to the upside. Google moved to the upside. Tesla was said already. Microsoft flat day as well. Okay, Microsoft also doesn't look strong lately since it announced that it kind of exited the AI business, right? So those are the stocks, and the last one that I would like to bring to your attention, that's Teva Pharmaceuticals. We've been speaking about this stock from around $7, then $11, then we continue, and we currently Friday close was the highest close so far on this recent move, 1855. And if you remember a few weeks back, a few months back, I said that some analysts set up a target price of 19. We're really approaching it. So a nice move. If any of the investors look for this as an investing opportunity and enter around 7, 11, 14, where we're breaking certain levels, I'm sure they are happy campers now. There was a lot of accumulation here from the strong move to the $16 area, a lot of shakeups, and we are on the way higher here. So we'll continue watching Teva. Okay. Let's move to commodities. We'll start with gold. Remember on my slide when I mentioned the 10-year yields going down on Friday, and I said that would be positive for gold, and here we go. Thursday, moved down. Friday, recovery. Recently, we made all-time high on gold again, and we are moving higher. And at these levels, I don't know if I spoke about it last week, but I saw there was an article, don't remember where, but it said the golden brick hit $1 million for the first time in history. That means it's about 400 ounce in the golden brick, the standard golden brick, and each ounce at $2,500. That's exactly $1 million per golden brick. Yes, interesting fact. Okay, so gold is on the way, very strong. Strong demand from the central banks also for the physical gold. And let's see if we see continuation or we see correction. If we see the correction, we might be coming here to this level here where we had double top and then we broke through, retested, established support, and moved higher around 2430 area. So that's gold. Copper, we said already, it's reacting to China. It's setting up for possible breakouts. You could see it keeps on hitting 200-day moving average. It's kind of like soldiers here. And let's see if we manage to break or not. If we're not breaking, we might move lower, but it is trying to break to the upside here. Oil had a nice move to the upside on both Thursday and Friday after hitting or confirming this low around 72. A nice move. We closed at the highs on Friday. Maybe China is improvement is affecting it. Maybe other things, as we know, the oil is being affected also with the war in the Middle East region. So it's also sensitive to it. I guess we'll see if we continue higher here. We might continue and retest. As you could see, all the averages are around the same level, around 78.5. If we continue, we might be facing that level there. Okay, so we'll be watching crude oil. Natural gas went the opposite direction. It moved lower both Thursday and Friday, as you could see here also. The 50-day moving average is below the 200, which is something they call by analysts dead cross, and that potentially could mean a selling signal. So let's see what's next. If we are continuing lower, we might be retesting this 191 level, where we had the move from that level in the beginning of May. Then we retested it and held it beginning of August. And it looks like after failing to break above 200 moving average, we're on the way to test it again, possibly. Or maybe the 2 psychological level might hold as well. So natural gas weakness. Now, if you remember, we spoke about grains, wheat, corn, and soybeans for possible reversal to the upside. They did try, but then they changed their mind. Let's see where they are. Wheat actually sold this past week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It moved lower. It was the strongest out of 3. Now it looks really weak. Maybe it's catching up with the rest. Corn, it tried beginning of the week, but then it sold again. But so far we are holding this 367.5 mark. So let's see if it's holding or we're breaking lower. Just to zoom out to show you, if we continue lower here, we still have a way to go. It looks like we had this triple bottom here. This is the monthly chart. One was 2014, one was 2016 in August. Both are about the same time. This was September 2014. 2 years later, August, September 2016, they were bounced. Then we came again in April 2020. We were trading around this level for 4 or 5 months, and then we shoot to the upside right here. And we came right, we're on the way to possibly retest that again. Very interesting. So that's the chart of corn. Let's see if we are holding, if we are breaking and closing below this level here, 367.5, we might continue lower to find a lower support. And soybeans, the only one actually bounced on Friday. So that's a positive sign. Let's see if we see any changes this week and a continuation to the upside from this bounce here. Okay, that's as far as commodities. Let's go to Forex. And as we said, with the 10-year yields, and I don't want to call it a promise of Powell, but definitely a strong statement that we are seeing the change in policy, the cuts are coming. So dollar, super sell on Friday. You could see this past week we did break through the trend line. And if we are continuing lower, first we would need to test the support here from December of last year. That's 100.295. And if we break that, the next support is below 100, which is 0.9924. It's $1 lower. And we have, that's a weekly chart. On the daily chart, as you can see, we are approaching this level. And if we do break it, the next one is right here, 99.25. So that's dollar. Now, obviously, all the majors had a nice run to the upside against the dollar. Let's take the weekly chart so we look for possible levels here. So euro dollar, if it continues, we might face the resistance from a year ago exactly. And that's around 112. With 112, what was that? 112.44. And pound actually broke that level in this past week. We did break the level of a year ago, and we are facing the resistance somewhere at the current levels here around 132. What a beautiful move, right? About 500 points in the past 2 months. As we said, Australian Dollar is facing resistance here, immediate resistance from July, beginning of July. The current levels, let's see if we manage to break it. We have 3 consecutive weeks to the upside. New Zealand dollar as well had 4 consecutive weeks, with the last week been very, very strong move to the upside. And we also might be facing this tails resistance. And if we do break through it, the strong resistance is at 0.6364. Okay. That's a possibility of resistance here. Swiss franc, dollar is weak against the Swiss franc on the way down. And of course, the dollar yen, we did break through that 146.50. And we're sitting right on 100 moving average here. This is the weekly chart, right? You could see the big move happen on Friday. And speaking of yen, Friday showed strength against most of the currencies. This is the Swiss JPY, rejected the 200 moving average here. Australian JPY flat for a few days. Something is happening, something is cooking. We are expected to see the move. As you could see here, it's really having a lot of ups and downs, but opening and closing price are very, very close for 3 consecutive sessions here. Something is coming up. CAD, JPY, also sold against JPY on Friday, Euro as well, and Pound as well. So it looks like JPY might be resuming that move to get stronger here. And here comes the NZD JPY. Looks like the strongest for the past week. It had a strong move against the dollar, and actually green, the only green major currency against yen. So we'll be paying attention to New Zealand dollar. Let's see what happens. It could be because of China's move on Friday as well. Okay, so dollar continues to sell. Yen is regaining some strength or continuing gaining the strength. And of course, the majors are moving against the US dollar, some of them at the major resistance levels. Okay, ZAR, as some of our customers, especially from South Africa, like this currency pair. You could see we did climb up for 3 consecutive sessions from the recent sell-off. And Friday, we just erased the whole 3 days of gains and closing at 1770. It's a very serious moment here. If we continue higher here, lower here, we might be coming to this level of a year ago, the end of July, and retesting it. You could see it took us 3 sessions, strong move to the upside, and was erased by one move on Friday. So ZAR will be focusing, and just for fun, I don't know if anybody's trading this currency. The Turkish lira, where are you? Here we go. It's the only currency that is still continues to be weak against the US dollar. As you know, the huge inflation there, the economic situation is not that great at all. So Turkish lira continues to be weak against the US dollar. Okay, and as I promised, a few words about Bitcoin. This is the move on Friday, beautiful move to the upside on that Powell speech, and Ethereum also trying to recover here from the recent sell-off. So let's see if cryptocurrencies manage to move higher from here. And just one more thing, just want to take one more look at NVIDIA. As we said, we had a nice recovery here on Friday after Thursday sell-off. We're still not at the all-time highs, and we are facing the earnings report on Wednesday night after the market close. Okay, so again, don't forget about subscribing to our social media channels, especially the YouTube channel, and of course the X Twitter, which is X simply now, and Telegram. And again, just to put it all in a short paragraph, we did have positive reaction on the markets, on the equity markets, from the speech of Powell on Friday. Dollar went down, gold went up, and equity markets had a nice recovery. This week we have another bunch of data. We have, let's just go really quick through it. So the most important is right here on Friday, which is the core personal consumption expenditure, and the earnings of NVIDIA Wednesday night. I want to wish everyone a great weekend, get some energy, enjoy yourself, recuperate, and prepare yourself for a busy week, which is, interestingly enough, is the last week of August. Historically is the slowest week in trading, as a lot of people are still trying to use the summer and enjoy their vacation with kids, families, and so on. And this August is not a usual August. You've seen a lot of things happening, including the VIX jumping to 65 and higher from 13. And the volatility is there. Also, of course, we are facing volatility affected by the elections, or the upcoming elections. All right, guys, enjoy your weekend. Have an amazing and profitable and successful week. All the best. We'll see you next Sunday.